Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. JLR Investigates in my backyard in the great state of Florida. Yes, I live on the water. A beautiful, crisp blue lake going on here. We just had a cold front come through. So, wow, man, it was like snuggling weather last night in the upper 40s. But this is a beautiful lake. I am very grateful to be able to live at this beautiful spot. Ryan Borgwardt. Ryan Borgwardt. That is a case that we followed a couple weeks ago. We're talking about the missing kayaker. The kayaker from Wisconsin, Green Lake, Wisconsin, who vanished and disappeared out of thin air. But it was a fake type of scheme that this guy wanted to do. He pretended that he had a kayak crash August 11th of 2024, and he just vanished. And he wanted people to make it appear as if he drowned and had some sort of kayak accident. Lo and behold, folks, over time, authorities figured this thing out as being a hoax, a scam, a scheme, and started doing some more investigations, and only to find out that Ryan, who is a father, he has a wife and kids, who's a father in his mid-40s, 45 years old, fled to Canada and then hitched a plane and went to Uzbekistan with another female. Guess what, folks? Proof of life has just came out. And when I say proof of life, he gave a video. And he apparently lately he's been corresponding with the police department up there, the sheriff's office, Green Lake area of Wisconsin, and he showed a proof of life video, but he won't disclose to authorities where he's at. And authorities want him to come home, come back to your wife and kids. Why would you leave your wife and kids for a woman over the internet? He's in some trouble, though. I think he's going to possibly face obstruction of justice charges, and the sheriff's office indicated that they're seeking $40,000 in restitution for this guy, for what he did. So we're going to listen to the videos. I just wanted to start out this segment in my backyard just to show you. Maybe you're a little jealous. I love it out here. It's great. I just had some wonderful landscaping done. That's my boat. I don't have a kayak, but I have a boat. That's my boat. I have a boat. And spinning the camera around, this is where I live. This is my backyard. I'm pretty grateful to be able to have all this. Look at that. It's all like beautiful, the waves. We just had a hurricane, and the water came up pretty high. Didn't flood here, but it came up pretty high. It probably had about 3 feet surge in this area. This is my boat. I have a boat, fiberglass. Look at my fiberglass boat. I'm like Gilligan. Fiberglass boat. But yeah, I come out here. Sometimes I give lives out here. Sometimes I do lives out here. And then I get all these like birds. Look at the birds out there. The birds in the water. It's pretty cool stuff. And then birds flying around looking for fish. Some of my neighbors come out and they go fishing. They come out there and they go fishing. They stand on the docks and go fishing. What's really cool about this area here is it is exactly due west. It faces exactly due west. So the sunsets here are breathtaking because when the sunset goes directly there and then it illuminates onto the lake and then it just turns into all types of orange and amazing colors. And every day we get a different sunset here on the west coast of Florida. So we're talking about a kayaker. We're talking about Ryan. We're going to talk about him, but I figured, hey, I'll start out on the water, work my way back into the home where I live. Got nice trees here. It's a tropical feel. Got a tropical feel. I got a nice little spot here. I'm doing some landscaping here. I got some. Oh, look, it's OJ. Look, it's OJ. Let's go say hello to OJ. And then we'll go in my house and we'll listen to Ryan and we'll continue our story here. But I always want to kind of show the JLR Army what is up and where I live. Hello! Hello. How are you doing? How are you doing? You okay? Yeah, we love you. We love you, OJ. All right. So, and then you go in, and I got a pool that's getting clean. Cleaning the pool. Yeah, you can come to my pool. My pool's pretty clean. Got a pretty clean pool here. You know, I got the thing. I got the thing spins around. Look, it's moving. It's one of those things. I put it on probably about 2 hours a day. It spins around. Got some chlorine. I got to do some of this, scrubbing a little bit. Not much maintenance. So what's really cool about this spot here is like I got tables and things like that. I can literally sit here and see like double layer. See that? It's one of those things. It's one of those things where you have a pool with the backdrop of a lake. So it's a nice little spot. Me and Magnolia are doing pretty good. We're doing pretty good, right? We're doing pretty good. Hard work pays off. We're probably here about half the year. Half the year I'm out there, boots on the ground. So let's go inside, shall we? Let's go inside and see what's up, right? And then talk about Mr. Ryan. I'll leave that open. Let's spin this around. Let's go inside, shall we? Are we doing a tour of JLR's crib? JLR's crib. Look at this. Look what I got. Look what I got. Yes. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Yeah, it's pretty cool, right? Nice little crib, right? Yeah, I got a nice little crib. About 1,700 square feet. Got some of these inspirational things. My YouTube plaque. JLR. Success, talent, perseverance. And then if you can, and then out here, let me see. You can actually, hello. How are you? Hello. You're the best kitty in the world. Roll over. Roll over. Roll over. Come on. Roll over. Roll over. Hello. Hello. I love you. Come here. Roll over. Come here. Yeah. Well, you want to roll over? Yeah, you do. Yeah. Oh, you don't want to roll over? Sometimes she wants to roll over. Sometimes she doesn't. And then she goes like this. Hello. Let's go fishing. Let's go fishing. All right. And then one of the cool things is you can go out here and you can look out and you see this. So it's pretty cool. I got a pretty nice little setup here, right? Nice little setup, right? All right. So let's get back to official business, folks. Ryan, what's his last name? Borgwardt. Remember the sheriff's like, I'm only going to refer him by Ryan. I'm only going to refer to him by Ryan. So this guy speaks, and he came out with a Bin Laden type proof of life video at an undisclosed location. Doesn't want to share where he's at. Why? He knows the gig is up. And I think, the police are playing little good cop, bad cop with him, trying to earn his trust. And maybe even knocking some sense into this guy and be like, dude, you got a wife and kids, man. We spent thousands, tens of thousands of dollars looking for you. As if you died. Like he literally laid out and he told police things. He told police exactly what he did. Look at this video here, but there's also another video circulating, by the way, before I play him talking. And then we're going to play the police because the police gave an update yesterday. Before he vanished, he's seen on some sort of TikTok video where someone was interviewing him, and he's talking about finding an international woman, which is very, very strange. So I'm going to play that first. I'm going to play actually him first speaking. Let's do it, folks. JLR investigates, covering this case, because I want to see this guy come home. And I wanted to see, and it's always good to do a follow-up on this. Now, check this out, right here.
Borgwardt. Today, hello, Matt. Today is November 11th. It's approximately 10 a.m. by you guys. I'm in my apartment. I am safe, secure, no problem. Hope this works.
Do I go to Uzbekistan or stay here?
Do you have family there?
No.
Why do you want to go?
Meet a woman?
To meet a woman. And it was
Uzbekistan.
Uzbekistan. You don't like American women?
No, they're familiar.
So you've given up on meeting someone here?
No, I'm married.
Oh,
Yeah.
but you want to find someone else?
Empty nest. I'm not sure. That's why I'm asking you.
Wait, empty nest? What do you mean?
Empty nest. My kids are out of the house now.
So you want to find, adopt a child?
No. I want to find a companion that I'm content with.
I think that requires you to divorce someone first.
Well, maybe.
That's good.
Or is she okay with that?
That's a good question. Remains to be seen.
Have you guys had a conversation about that? So, would it be like a throuple or something?
No.
Oh, you guys would get a divorce, possibly.
Possibly, yeah.
Do you just feel like there's no love left between you guys?
Diminished.
Finished? Well, I think you guys should definitely have that discussion and see where things are going between you two before you leave the country.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you guys should sort out where your marriage is right now. I think that's the first thing.
She's preaching common sense to him.
Well.
And he's like, it's bizarre, folks, because then ultimately, and that was taken earlier in the year, ultimately then he did go overseas to an Uzbekistan woman, but he faked his death. But you know what's crazy is on this channel here, JLR Investigates, as soon as the sheriffs gave that original press conference on November 11th, we were like the first people, literally, on YouTube to put this guy out there, right? And I find it interesting because if you listen to this video, he dates the date of this video, November 11th. He says so he made this video on the 11th.
Good evening, it's Ryan Borgwardt. Today, hello, Matt. Today is November 11th. It's approximately 10 a.m. by you guys. I'm in my apartment. I am safe, secure, no problem. Hope this works.
Do I go to Uzbekistan?
Why I say that, the reason why I say that is because the video that we made about him, November 11th, like literally as the police were putting that press conference. So I'm just wondering if we played a role in him putting a video out, because he, we did pretty decent here. It got viral. A lot of people responded to us about this kayaker, but he makes a video, it seems like, after we posted our video. Now, I don't like to take credit for things, but I just think it's very interesting on that aspect. But this guy here has caused significant amount of... We like to try to make differences in the world when we like to try to make a difference in the world by, putting things out there, and hopefully that some of the videos that we put out there can make change. That makes change. We hope we can contribute, just like we get thousands of people that send us emails talking about the migrant videos that we've put out there, and politicians reaching out, local, not big time politicians, but politicians on the local level were not following me based on what the point is, some of the things that, we do, hopefully we can inspire or make a difference, or, and make something happen. That's the point I'm trying to make. So let's go back to this guy faking his death, right? Ryan. Why in the world would he do this? Because you remember, folks, earlier in the year, he also took out a significant life insurance policy. And I don't understand how he would do that but he took out a several $100,000 life insurance policy and, just vanished from a lake, which authorities spent days on this lake, Green Lake, Wisconsin, up there searching for this guy all over the place until, there are people that do the radar and go along, finally said to the sheriff, look, he ain't here. We searched every nook and cranny of Green Lake, and he's not here, folks. Or he's not here, Sheriff. He's not here. And it made investigators look at another avenue. And lo and behold, they find out the guy made his way to Canada after making it appear that, he crashed and then fled overseas with a woman. So he leaves his own family behind. What a creep. What a creep. This is him and his wife. He has a family. He has a family. And I feel very bad for his family. Regardless if the relationship didn't work or not, if it didn't work, why didn't he just file for divorce? Why didn't he just tell his wife, I no longer want to be with you and separate from you? That's what happens in this country when relationships don't work, either side. Either side. That's what happens when and this is the video that we're going to play shortly. Why would you have to do it, make this all this extra nonsense and put his family through this? It makes zero sense. Why fake your death? Or does he have guilt and shame that he was leaving his wife? I mean, does he have any guilt or shame whatsoever? He's making these Bin Laden type appearance videos, right? But still not telling authorities where he's at. Now, I'm not going to show his kids. I'm not going to show his kids. But he has children. He has children. And I feel really bad for the children because the children thought probably at the time that their dad died. And he selfishly concocted a hoax and a scheme. Imagine the psychological effects that this guy did on his own children. It's horrific. It's bad. It's disgusting. He needs to come home ASAP. Ryan, if you're watching, come home ASAP. Yeah, you're going to be charged. I don't know what you're going to be charged with. Possibly fraud, possibly obstruction of justice, lying to investigators. I don't know. But do what's right, dude. If you're watching, do what's right. Turn yourself in. This is ridiculous. They will find you. If they know exactly where you are, authorities will work with that government and find you. And then you're going to be held in a jail there for extended period of time. Just, dude, get on a plane and just come home and deal with the consequences. Yeah, you're going to be all over TV, and you're probably going to be known as the worst father in the United States at the time. But it's not the end of the world, Ryan. It's not the end of the world. Yeah, you're going to do some time. I think so. What do you think? Prison? I think so. I think some prison, right? I think some prison on this. I don't think you just get a slap on the wrist for the amount of chaos that this guy's caused. The sheriffs have done subsequent press conferences on this. This has now become an international story. It blew up in the last 24 hours since that appearance video has circulated that the authorities have put out there. That video has been out there, though, since the 11th, as far as the authorities knowing about the video. There's lots of news clips about this case. I'll just play this one short one, and then we'll get into the press conference and listen to the sheriff speak about this situation.
Now to the bizarre story of a Watertown man accused of faking his own death and fleeing the country. This morning, we're now hearing from Ryan Borgwardt. His family reported him missing in August after a trip to Green Lake. Well, now, after a months-long investigation, detectives say they believe Borgwardt is alive and in Eastern Europe. At a news conference, officials shared Borgwardt's proof of life video.
Good evening. It's Ryan Borgwardt. Today, hello, Matt. Today is November 11th. It's approximately 10 a.m. by you guys. I'm in my apartment. I am safe, secure, no problem. Hope this works.
So investigators believe, again, Borgwardt is somewhere in Eastern Europe, but they don't know where. They say before his disappearance, Borgwardt started communicating with a woman in Uzbekistan. The Green Lake County Sheriff says while Borgwardt may have tried to fake his own death back in August, he is proud of his deputies for never giving up on the family.
Think about the children and what they're going through. You know, there could have came a time when we just said, you know, it's enough. But we never did that. And we did that for the family. We want to bring them closure.
The sheriff says Borgwardt has not yet spoken with his family, and he could possibly face a charge of obstruction of justice. You can watch the latest news conference from the Green Lake Sheriff in this story on the 12 News app.
He didn't even speak to his own children yet. He's been communicating with authorities, but not his own children or his wife or his... Like, what is this guy doing, dude? This is sick. This is very, very sick stuff. And the sheriff is right. The sheriff, they could have just gave up. Like a couple days after searching and just say, oh, he drowned. That's it. Case closed. Medical examiner or coroner, wherever it works, marks him death as drowning. That's it. Then he would have been in the books as dead. And then at the same time, while he's pretending he's dead, he's out there running around Europe with an unknown woman. We don't know who the woman is yet. And they still don't know where he's at. They just say Eastern Europe. He appears to be like going to Uzbekistan. But he might not be in Uzbekistan. He could be anywhere. What documents? Why can't they find out what documents he used to go, you know, because apparently they're talking about the timeline here. They list this, and then we're going to play the press conference. But they'd say on this guy how Ryan states he left the country. So this is his version. Now, you got to take his version for a grain of salt, but I think he's probably honest with the police at this point. He stashed an e-bike near the boat launch. He paddled his kayak and a child-sized inflatable boat out into the lake. He overturned the kayak and dumped his phone in the lake. He paddled the inflatable boat to shore, got on his e-bike, and rode it through the night to Madison, Wisconsin. In Madison, he boarded a bus and went to Detroit. So he went to Michigan. And then the Canadian border, because right there in Detroit on the other side is Canada. He continued on a bus to the airport and got on a plane. What is this dude thinking? He literally had an e-bike. And he drove. Matter of fact, let me do something real quick. With Green Lake, how far is it from Green Lake to Madison? Because he took an e-bike. Green Lake to Madison. There you go. Let's see. Survey says. Oh, Green Lake, Wisconsin. They had me Green Lake, Washington. All right. Green Lake, Wisconsin to Madison. It is 68 miles, folks. He traveled 68 miles in an e-bike to go to Madison in the middle of the night. 68.7 miles. Then he goes to Madison and goes all the way to Detroit via bus. Man. Probably Greyhound, Peter Pan. I don't know what bus lines are out there. Madison to Detroit. Crossed the Ambassador Bridge in Detroit into Canada. Boom. Probably went to, I would say Montreal. Let me see. Let me just see something here. I'm assuming if he came across in Detroit... Well, I mean, I don't know. Toronto. I would say, look, he goes from here to here. So he takes an inflatable raft with him out in the kayak, dumps his phone in the water, takes the inflatable raft, the child's raft, back onto the shoreline, gets on his e-bike, goes from Green Lake to Madison, takes him all night long. He loads onto a bus, then goes all the way to Detroit. So welcome to Greyhound, probably went to Chicago, probably went to Gary, South Bend, up to Detroit. Gets up Detroit, crosses into Canada, I would assume right there, Ambassador Bridge area right there. And then probably I would say went to Toronto. That's probably went from, and I'm surprised he got into Toronto, went to Toronto, and then went from Toronto to Uzbekistan. Toronto to Uzbekistan. Is that the route he took? Did he really go to Uzbekistan? Or they just say Eastern Europe? Matter of fact, I'll get the map here. I'll show you Uzbekistan. He could be anywhere in Eastern Europe. Uzbekistan. I had to look on the map exactly where it is. I've heard of all the Uzbekistans. There's a bunch of Uzbekistans, right? According to Google, here it is. Google Maps. He went all the way to the, like, basically far Eastern Europe. Look at that. He went right here. Here's Europe. I don't even know if that's Asia. He went to Asia. He went from all the way from Wisconsin down to Madison to Detroit, probably Toronto, and then flying to one of the Uzbekistans near Russia. What in the world is this guy thinking? Where is he? Come home. Is he in a non-extradition country? Maybe the government, knows where he's at, but won't cooperate with the United States government due to whatever extradition laws or whatever. They'd say, no, we're not gonna mess with this guy. Have you seen him? Anyone from Uzbekistan on JLR Investigates? If you are, we welcome you. We welcome everyone from around the world that watches our channel. We're a global channel. We're just not a national channel. We're a global channel. But have you seen this guy? Have you seen this guy's face anywhere? Anywhere? Have you seen this guy's face anywhere in Uzbekistan or Asia or anywhere? If you have, one, take some videos and pictures of him and turn it into authorities immediately to give the Green Lake County sheriffs an idea where this is, where this guy is. Let's help keep this guy off the streets. Let's get this guy off the streets and get him back in the United States to face justice and explain himself. It takes a real creep to do that to his own wife and kids. Really bad. Will he be able to redeem himself? I don't know. But he's going to be, when he gets caught, and I do believe he will be caught, he is going to be looked upon as the worst dad in America. He's going to take that award. The worst dad in America. He's going to get that temporary reward. There's going to be no one in the news cycle as bad as this guy when he comes back to America. He's going to be plastered. He's already plastered all over the place. When they do the perp walk or, they arrest him, whatever the guy, and they're not going to let him go without charges. It's just too much of a high-profile case at this point. They're going to have to set an example and deter anyone else from thinking they want to be like Ryan and fake their death and flee overseas to another woman. Who's the woman? Maybe the authorities know. Maybe they'll share it. Maybe not. So they did give a press conference. It's kind of lengthy, but I have not listened to this press conference yet. Yesterday they spoke. They gave an update, the sheriff. I'm going to listen. I'm invested in this case. I want to see what happens. I think this was a very substantial update based off what they said, based off the proof of life video. So we're on this case. We said it before November 11th when we originally posted about this case. We said we're going to follow through, but I've been periodically searching and I haven't seen nothing. Then I was like, whoa, what do we got here? He's alive. Well, we knew he was alive, but he's alive. Now he's alive. But maybe he's not alive now because that was November 11th when he made that video. Maybe he's trying to end himself or something like that. And he could be that one of those types that won't accept, face accountability, responsibility, and do something wacko to his own self because he knows the gig is up. Let's listen to the sheriff and what the sheriff has to say.
Made it safely. I think winter is here now. I wanted to first get into, after our last press conference, we outlined why we had stopped the search on Green Lake, and that while we might have stopped the search on Green Lake, that didn't stop our search continuing to look for Ryan. At this time, I just want to express my thanks. Yes, I'm up here by myself. The other ones had a lot going on, but I want to express my thanks to the Wisconsin Department of Criminal Investigations, the FBI, MOCIC, Homeland Security, the Brown County Sheriff's Office, and especially Bruce's Legacy and Charlie DeGroot, who is our dive expert that came in. There are a couple of questions that have been asked repeatedly through the last couple of weeks that I would like to address. The first, potential charges. There was a lot of concern, and the information that the Green Lake County has at this point leads us to an obstructing charge. What he did on the lake, staging his death. I cannot comment on the federal charges that may or may not be filed through our federal partners. The second one, and one of the big, most important one, was regarding the amount that Green Lake County will be seeking for restitution. It's in the area of $35,000 to $40,000. These costs do not include what Bruce's Legacy did, or our divers, Charlie DeGroot. We're looking at about $7,000 in equipment expenses, that along with the wages. The day of our last press conference, November 8th, we attempted with a number of data points that we were left on his computer. And what I'm saying is that day, we hit the numbers that were given to us in trying to make contact with Ryan. Things like phone numbers, email address. We just did a blitz. And that day, the Brown County Sheriff's Office assisted us because of the circumstances that we had. And we were trying to get in contact with Ryan. Through that weekend, we continued to try our communications with a female that spoke Russian. And on November 11th, we got in contact with Ryan through her. That was a big turning point. And our biggest concern that we had was if he was safe and well. We asked him a number of questions that pertained to him and his family that he would only know. And then we asked him for a video of himself. And he furnished that, and I'm going to present that now to you folks.
So the Russian woman on the 11th got a hold of the authorities and kind of was mediator between the parties. Very interesting. 11th is when they got this video that they're about to show. We already showed it. They're just going to show it again. Of Ryan. Proof of life. Are they having equipment issues? Could be charged with the feds, he said. Fed charges?
Hopefully both.
Sorry for the delay. Must be due to the snowstorm.
Yeah, blame it on the snow. They're having technical difficulties because of the snow. Snowing in Wisconsin? Let's see proof of life, shall we? They don't have a technical person there, it seems like, that knows what they're doing. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. The whole world is watching.
We've been under a lot of pressure, you can see.
I see. He responds. Been under pressure. Patience, media. Patience, everyone. Patience, JLR investigates. JLR Army. They've been under a tremendous amount of stress. And yeah, they have. I'd be ticked off if I wasted my resources looking for someone and end up being a hoax. How do you think we felt with Carly Russell and that debacle? It's despicable. You know, people are pouring their hearts out to, you know, look for someone that's missing, volunteers, and it ends up being a hoax. They were like, Ryan, just send us a video. They're going to have to turn up the volume. But we've already watched this video here.
Get out of the way. Thanks.
He's showing some dingy apartment. Some dingy place. Can't they identify the apartment, like, in any clues?
November 11th, it's approximately 10 a.m. by you guys.
Come on, Green Lake. They'll probably play it one more time.
Okay,
No?
well, that's the great news. Great news, we know that he's alive. And, well, the bad news is we do not know where Ryan exactly is. And he has not yet decided to return home.
Come home, Ryan.
We have had nearly a daily communications with Ryan. My Chief Deputy Vandico, is our main person that communicates with him, and has grown to have a pretty good relationship that he continues. There were a number of questions that we have asked him and talked about, and we told him what we were going to be doing next. And one of them was to find out who helped him get off the lake. And he decided in one of his communications that he was going to tell us how he did that. He stashed an e-bike near the boat launch. He paddled his kayak in a child-sized floating boat out into the lake. He overturned the kayak and dumped his phone in the lake. He paddled the inflatable boat to shore and got on his e-bike and rode through the night to Madison. In Madison, he boarded a bus and went to Detroit and then the Canadian border. He continued on the bus to an airport and got on a plane. We are continuing to verify this information, trying to put the dots together. But we feel that this was Ryan's way that he could tell the entire country how he did it. In our communications, we are expressing the importance of his decision to return home, clean up the mess that he has created. Our primary judicial concern has been that he safely gets back to U.S. soil. He needs to return home to his children. If he chooses not to return, it's on his own free will. And I think the message is very clear. We have been continuing to contact the family members regarding our communication with Ryan. No warrants have been issued yet. We believe that warrants will not be needed if Ryan cooperates and decides to turn and return home soon. I cannot speak on further on the comments that we have had with him in our communications, but only that we continue to search and help him in any way that we can to get him back. And right now, I will answer any questions that you may have.
Has he indicated that he might ever willingly return?
Our communications are continuing to go on about that matter.
Sheriff, could you speak to the balance that you and your investigators have to rely on in these conversations, knowing full well that if he were to return, he potentially could face state or federal criminal charges regarding this incident, while also still trying to get him to return home?
And we've talked about that. His biggest concern is how the community is going to react to him.
They're going to be mad.
And I can see that. Okay, he staged his death, and unfortunately, one of the things that he did say was he didn't expect us to go more than 2 weeks in searching for him. Well, I hate to tell you, he picked the wrong sheriff in the wrong department. And one of the reasons why he picked Green Lake was because it was the deepest lake in Wisconsin. He did research, he did, and he thought his plan was gonna pan out, but it didn't go the way he had planned. And so now we're trying to give him a different plan, is to come back home.
Is it still believed that he could be in Uzbekistan? I know you said the woman spoke Russian.
Correct. We do not know exactly where he's at. We know that it's someplace in Eastern Europe.
Will you tell us about the woman that he's with? Do you know anything about her?
At this time, I won't comment on that.
Have you talked to his family at all? I know you've communicated with him, but has he communicated with his wife or his children?
Yes, we have communicated with his entire family, not the children, because we feel that the mother is there with them, and it's important that they get the information from her.
Right, but I'm saying, has he talked to his wife and children? He has not.
No, he is not.
Do you have any previous ties to Eastern Europe? No?
Not that we know of.
Is the Russian-speaking woman that helped you find or make contact with him, is that the same woman that he was communicating with?
I'm not going to release that at this time.
I know you mentioned the obstructing charge. Are you going to be pursuing any other charges, falsifying documents, anything like that?
Like I said, we have our federal partners working on that, and that's what they are doing, and I don't have any comment to give on them charges.
Speaking of federal partners, has the Green Lake Sheriff's Office gotten the State Department or other federal agencies that maybe handle things overseas in addition to the FBI involved?
They're the ones that go through that, but we have talked to the State Department.
Do you have any idea why he did this? What has he said about this?
He just had personal matters going on, and he felt this was the right thing to do. And how he was going to, there was talk about the life insurance plan that he took out. It wasn't for him, it was for his family. And he was just going to try to make things better in his mind, that this is the way it was going to be. And it didn't happen.
And you believe he's with this Russian-speaking woman right now?
do not know.
Has he expressed any remorse for what he's put his family through the past several weeks, months?
Yeah, he talks about that. He also feels bad about the amount of hours that we have put in the community. He says, I got myself in this situation and I just got to try to get out of it.
Was there a situation prior to this that led him to take out this insurance policy and decide to fake his own death?
No, the situation I'm talking about is when he faked his own death, okay? But it wasn't in his plan to do that. So he's got to try to make that better with his family now.
But was this a financial situation that led him to lead to why we're here today?
I think it was a number of reasons.
Is there evidence of any crimes that he might have committed before he went missing?
No.
Uzbekistan doesn't have formal extradition with the U.S. How has that impacted the investigation?
We continue to do our investigation, and when we come across them obstacles, we just see where it takes us.
Sheriff, where do you go from here? I mean, you've made contact with him. You continue to connect with him. I mean, he's not willing to come home. So where do you go from here?
Well, we keep pulling at his heartstrings. Okay? And that's what we continue. Hopefully he sees this video. I'm sure he sees the other one. But that's what it's all about. We're not going to give up. We want to continue because he needs to come home to his kids.
How long will you continue to try to convince Ryan to come home?
I really can't answer that with a specific time. We'll know when it happens.
Sheriff, what might have been troubling him to cause him to take this extreme of a measure?
Not really sure.
What do you know about how he connected with this woman? Do you know, obviously on the internet, but what method and how did they meet? Do you know anything about that?
No, other than that was through the internet.
Was there any type of fearing for his personal safety to lead him to leave?
What was that?
Did he fear at all for his personal safety causing him to leave or try to fake his own death?
That flight out of Canada, where did it land?
That's still under investigation.
Prior to you contacting him, did he know that y'all figured out that he faked his death? So did he see media reports that would have alerted him that you were on his case?
I'm sure he did, because all the media that has contacted me, it's all over the world. I'm sure that...
So did he give you the impression he knew that you were on it already?
No, not really. It's through our communications that we had with him, and then he found out. He knew.
Your initial get in contact with this woman?
That I do not know exactly.
Your initial contact with this woman who speaks Russian, did she seem to be aware of the full circumstances of what was going on, that Ryan had faked his death, that his family was looking for him? Did she seem aware of all of that?
I do not know. Our main focus was trying to get a hold of him, and she did that.
Is anyone else under investigation for providing assistance?
No.
What's his demeanor in these communications? Is he scared, sad? Anything to describe how he's been communicating?
It depends. And we base our response on the response that we get. I think that he gets emotional. He does. He's just trying to work out the right thing. And I tell you, my chief deputy is doing a great job in communicating.
Why is the Sheriff's Department continuing to press him to come home? I understand there may be obstruction charges here, but this is a domestic situation. The guy apparently wanted to just leave his family. I mean, at what point do you need to step on and just say this is between him and his family?
When that time comes, we'll make that decision. Right now, it's important for our department to continue communications with him and know that there's people out here that want him back. So I can't put a time on that. Our department is pretty special. It is.
Sheriff, do you feel like he's in any danger? I know he's communicating regularly with you, but that he's in danger where he is, or
No, we don't feel that. And that's one of the reasons why we wanted to get a video. And we asked him, and we want to make sure that he's safe and well.
Is there any
With authorities in Eastern Europe at all? Any contact with authorities overseas?
We have our FBI agents working on whatever we can find.
Is there an indication that he has any multi-language abilities that would allow him to survive or flourish in a country, especially like Uzbekistan, where English as a second language is not very prevalent?
His plan might not have worked out the way he thought it was, but he's a smart guy. He is. And just the knowledge that we know, and by talking with him, he's somebody that could learn that, I think, pretty good. So.
In the video, he seemed to say, I'm in my apartment or something to that extent. Do you believe that he's fully assimilated in this other country with a new home, potentially a job, that sort of thing, if he has an apartment?
I watched the same video that everybody else watched, and you can come to your own conclusions. But he's got an apartment.
Where you get the money?
Other than that, we don't know how well he's established.
Is the video the only time you guys physically saw him when you continue to communicate with him? Is it over video chat or is it just phone calls?
Can you repeat that one more time?
The video is that the only time you physically have seen him since you started communicating with him? Your regular communication with him, are they over video chat or is it just all phone calls or other means?
That's the only video that we have, and it's all through email.
How is he funding all of this? You said he has an apartment.
Great question.
Where is he getting money
Funding.
for his wife over there?
Not really sure. What I know of him is he's probably got a job someplace. He's a pretty handy man, he is.
In talking to his family, do you get a sense if they want him back or not?
Oh yes, they do.
How is the family? I know you guys have been in constant contact with them and their mother, the wife's wife has been just absolutely amazing in all of this. Or how have they been reacting to the news that you finally get contact with her husband and his mother?
The contact we had once they heard about what took place at our last press conference, they were shocked. But they continue to grow. They're very supportive, and they'll get through this.
They want him home.
I got one more thing to say, and then we're gonna call it. But Christmas is coming, and what better gift he could give his kids is to be there for Christmas with him.
Whoa, emotional.
Thank you.
Wow, he was emotional. He was about to cry. Sheriff. All right, so he's done. Let's get Magnolia in the chat and talk about this case a little bit. I have a lot of questions after listening to this. Come on in, Magnolia, into the chat, and we can have a conversation about Ryan Borgwardt. Remember, he referred him to Ryan. Hello, Magnolia.
Hello.
All right, so this just broke through in the last 24 hours. Mr. Ryan speaks. What is your take on the situation?
Well, my first question was, why did the sheriff say that faking his death was not part of his plan? Why did he say that? Because he obviously planned it very elaborately. So what did he mean by that? I feel like I missed something.
Insurance policy. I mean, he took out an insurance policy for his family. That's the way I heard it. So, I mean, that's like he's planning his death, right? Like, yeah, but he like tipped over the boat. He had an inflatable raft. He threw his phone in the
get
water.
away on. He had an e-bike. He went to Madison. He went to Detroit. He went into Canada. He took a flight. So what is? I don't understand what he meant by that. So maybe he was just saying that originally he wasn't planning to do that, or maybe the plan changed at some point. But I feel like he left some stuff out of there.
So another thing I have, and I have a question though, like if he doesn't report his own death or he doesn't make a report to law enforcement, is that a crime? Like, you understand what I'm saying? Like if he just does all this but doesn't share like to authorities, like, I mean, is it a crime though? That's what I'm wondering. I'm just wondering if it's a crime what he committed.
They're calling it obstruction. Yeah, I mean, they're calling it obstruction because they searched for him for like 8 weeks.
I know.
He never came forward to say, hey, I'm alive, I'm okay. So they're saying that is obstruction.
But that's his own way of doing. I mean, I'm a little confused on that. Like morally, he's the worst of the. I mean, he's bad. I mean, it takes a real human garbage to do this to his own family and the community in general. But like one of the reporters said, what are you going to do? Like, what about if he just wants to get away? What about if he just wants to stay in Europe? How are you going to handle this at this point? Do they extradite him back for that if he doesn't even want to be?
Yeah, I mean, I think normally if he had just left and disappeared and he was a missing person or whatever, and he was discovered in Uzbekistan and he says, I'm fine, I don't think that would be any big deal at all. I think what's the issue specifically here is that he actively faked his death. So he made it appear as though he drowned in that lake, which launched like an 8-week search of that lake. And he's saying they want $40,000 restitution for that.
Well, you know where he messed up. He told the police his scheme. So the statement is the one that's going to get him the obstruction. Like if he never actually gave that assessment, then the police can just assume. Do you understand? He actually told them like some sort of plot. So he actually, maybe if his own words could be used against him on that aspect. But if he's running around in Europe in his own name and working and he just doesn't want to come home, beyond, obstruction and lying to the police or whatever, I mean, what type of crimes are we looking at here?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's it. It's lying to police, obstruction charges, and restitution.
So what state would extradite someone from another country for an obstruction charge? Or what country would hand someone over for, what's obstruction? Is it a felony? Is it a misdemeanor? What's obstruction? Oh, even if it's a felony, like a nonviolent felony crime, a false statement obstruction type charge, I mean, is that extraditable? Is that where they put a hold on him and they demand that he gets returned back? I think they're trying their best to convince him to come back. That's what I think.
Yeah, I mean, they seem to really want him to come back so that he can face justice, and they want to charge him, and they want the money back too. So I don't know, that sheriff seems pretty committed to this.
Yeah, I know. He's like, you messed with the wrong sheriff.
Yeah, he seems very committed. He was practically crying at the end. And, I noticed that about him too. The last time we did this story, we played the other press conference. He was also emotional in that press conference, especially when he would talk about the kids and how they want their dad back.
Yeah, there's photographs of him and his kids. He's a father of 3, right? 3 children?
Yeah, they're young kids, yeah.
And that's where it just, and remember the sheriff was just like, he's concerned about how the community will feel. Well, yeah. Yeah.
But people in the chat are saying, a lot of people in the chat are saying, like, they probably don't want him back. I mean, if I was the wife, I probably wouldn't want him to come back. Now, the kids, I don't know how the kids would feel, but I imagine the kids probably feel embarrassed because they have to go to school and everyone will have heard about this story.
Why not identify the Russian language woman, assuming she's Russian? You notice, one thing he said, though, and that's why I was going by our video, Magnolia. I always want to think, hey, did we play a part in this or whatever like that? That press conference, actually, from the first one the sheriffs gave was on the 8th. We made a video on the 11th, you and I. And then he's saying that this Russian woman got a hold of them on the 11th to talk about him.
Well, the video that we played of him, that was also on the 11th.
Yeah.
Same day.
So I'm just wondering, like, did the Russian woman watch JLR Investigates? Because we were literally the only people that put this case out on YouTube at the time.
Yeah.
I just wondered,
Yeah, that
you know.
is interesting, the timing. But, I think that they're definitely seeing the coverage. And I was saying that about people who live in Uzbekistan. They're going to see this coverage because the case has gone global. And, every major media has covered this in the last day or so. So they're definitely seeing the media coverage. And I think one thing the sheriff told the reporter, he said they don't plan, as of right now, they don't plan to go over there and search for him themselves. But I think he probably knows that people over there will see him. He will be spotted. He will be seen. Someone's going to find him and probably call in.
And turn him in and where he's at. Yeah, because he's got...
And tell them where he is and say, hey, I just saw the guy who faked his death. He is living near this coffee shop. Someone's going to see him. He's not... Just because the media coverage has gotten so extensive, they're definitely seeing it.
Yeah, but I'm not so sure the sheriffs in Wisconsin can do anything about it. They can't go over to Uzbekistan to try to get this guy. As much as we say this is...
Would they extradite? Would they attempt to do that for this?
If he's in Uzbekistan, he could be somewhere else. I mean, we're assuming Uzbekistan could be another one of them countries out there.
Well, I wouldn't say...
Could be in Russia.
I wouldn't say that they won't extradite him, just because I think if they weren't planning to do that, they would not be still pursuing the case. They're pursuing the case. They're actively doing press conferences. They're updating the media. They seem like they're committed to following through on this.
I think they're just trying to lure him home.
Yeah, for sure. They probably...
Because that's their only shot at this point. I mean, I can't see it. I just, Magnolia, my take is, even if he had a federal indictment, even if he got a federal indictment, what they could charge him federally, do we hear people from Uzbekistan or Russia being extradited back to the United States?
For faking their own death?
Any charge. I mean, this is not like it's murder.
Yeah.
I think their only best shot is to use his children and convince, come home for the holidays for your children. Your children miss you. Your children love you. Just come home, come home, come home. Why are you doing this to your family? But they should. I mean, this guy left behind his own kids and everything like that. That's the only way I see them, and then once he gets, comes back, yeah, they'll have to face the music of all these charges, but these other countries ain't gonna cooperate with that, especially these hostile nations. I don't know what type of relations Uzbekistan has with the United States, and we don't know if he's in Uzbekistan. He could be in Russia.
Yeah, so I just looked it up, and you can actually be charged federally for faking your own death.
Okay.
They can charge him with fraud, because if you fake your death to collect life insurance or other benefits, you can be charged with fraud. So the life insurance policy could be considered fraud, because he said he got that so that his family could collect the money. So that would be fraud. Obstruction of justice to avoid legal consequences or investigations. False statements, providing false information to federal authorities. And then if you assume a new identity, you could be charged with identity theft.
So get him on the phone with a federal agent.
Those are some of the charges. And the sheriff did mention in that press conference, he did mention something about that they were looking at federal charges.
Yeah, so I don't know if the Fed spoke to him, but all he has to do is just speak to a Fed on the phone, and all he has to, the Fed can just get him in a lie, and then he gets that lying to federal authority type charge, 18 U.S.C. 1001. Get him with a 1001, and then you have him. But then you have an indictment, so even if in an indictment, he's stuck where he's at. If they don't extradite, he can never travel abroad, really, to Europe or anywhere else again, so he's cornered in.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going to be like an Edward Snowden, you know what I mean? Like someone that's in a country just staying there, and the country's not cooperating, but he has to just stay put.
Yeah. Well, The sheriff keeps saying that they're trying to pull at his heartstrings, but I think the issue here is that he doesn't have a heart. Because if he did, he wouldn't have done this in the first place.
It's
So
pretty sick.
I don't know how far they're going to get with that process. Like, I don't know how that's going to pan out. It doesn't seem like he really cares. I mean, the video he made was one of the most emotionless things I've ever seen.
It's weird.
So,
it's like,
yeah.
he reminds me of one of these like soldiers, just without any like empathy or nothing, just real cool, cold, and calculated, just like no soul.
Yeah, it's pretty weird. So,
Like he's a lost soul.
I don't think the tactic of trying to pull at his heartstrings is necessarily going to work, because it doesn't seem like he cares, because, you know, his kids thought he was dead for like 2 months. I think it was more than 2 months, until they finally discovered, like, oh, wait a minute, he used his passport. He used a passport. He got a new passport, and used it to get into Canada. So they thought he was dead, and he doesn't seem like that bothers him at all.
No, not at all. Again, he's like literally like at this point, it's over for him, because if you just put his name in Google right here, he's just all over the place in the last 24 hours, just video after video. I mean, his image is out there everywhere now. Like, it is an international story. If you just put Google images, here you go.
Yeah.
He's just there. I mean, I'm trying to avoid showing pictures of his family, but it's just all over there. You know, it's all over there.
Yeah.
You know, just article after article. Like he's internationally known at this point. So this is not going away. And I don't know what's going to happen here. Something tells me, though, I don't know, man. I want to think that the guy will just pop up on a plane and pop up home. But what's also weird is the sheriff doesn't even know, like, where he flew from Canada to where. He doesn't even know. He said that's still under investigation, as if they don't know. Like, what do you mean you don't know? So is Canada not cooperating with these people?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like they would have to know, right? I mean, they didn't. They didn't mention that he used a different name, did they? I don't think they ever said that he had a different name. They just said that he got a new passport, and he left his original passport at home. So he had left a lot of his things at home, and when he tipped the boat over in the lake, he dumped his phone into the lake too. So he left a lot of things behind to make it look like he died, you know. But he apparently got a new passport that they only found out about like a while into this, like 2 months into this.
Yeah, so, you know, that's another charge. He could be charged with identity theft if he assumes someone else's identity or whatever like that. Sheriff also said he works. You know, he has ability to work. I'm assuming, what, a handyman, plumber type of work, electrician type work, some sort of handyman, maybe doing odds and end jobs or whatever like that. I mean, is that his apartment? Is that not his apartment? Is he staying in someone's apartment?
Well, that could be where the woman lives, and she could have helped him get a job lined up when he came over there.
Is he still with that woman? Maybe the woman kicked him out.
Well, no, I think he is, because they said that they've been communicating with them through email.
So why does the woman just say, kick rocks, dude? You're married. You have kids. Like, what do you, like... But I don't know. I mean, we're talking about different culture, personalities. I don't know. Like, kick rocks. Get out of here. Go back to your family. Why would a woman want to be with a guy that faked his own death and left his own children behind? Because he would do the same thing to her.
Well, I think she helped him with the planning and stuff. So, you know, she knows what he did.
Sick stuff. Well, we're going to be on it, Magnolia, for sure. And if, you know, we're putting the image out, hopefully today we made another difference. Hopefully today he resurfaces and makes a new video or something, you know?
Yeah, I'd be really surprised if he comes back on his own. I think it's more likely someone spots him and makes a call to the Green Lake sheriff.
Green Lake. Don't mess with that Green Lake
and
sheriff.
Then they go from there, and they decide what to do at that point. So
Awesome. All right. Well, we're staying on this case. Anything else you want to add?
No, but you know what? His wife, one thing for her, I mentioned this in the chat, she'll probably get a good payday from the Lifetime movie rights and different things like that.
Yes, Netflix.
Most definitely coming her way.
Definitely.
And she can write a book. They can make a movie. She can do, interviews and different things like that. So I think she'll be fine.
Dude traveled 68 miles on an e-bike.
Yeah.
At nighttime. They didn't see him on the road. No one saw this dude like trekking along the road.
Mm-hmm.
All the way. And what happened to the e-bike? Once he took it to Madison, he just ditched it?
Oh yeah, John Furno made a good point. He said how about unpaid child support? He has 3 kids. So yeah, that's true. I mean, if he's going to leave, she'd have to file she'll probably file divorce. And when you file divorce, you have to go through the child support worksheets and all that different stuff. So that would be interesting to see if they end up having him owing child support too on top of everything.
Okay, so how much longer, one more thing, how much longer do you think the sheriffs will be patient with this before they bust the next move with some charges or some sort of demand to, with another country to produce the body or something, something where something hits the fan legal-wise? I mean, do you think past January is probably the deadline? He has to turn himself in by Christmas, maybe?
Yeah, maybe something like that.
It seems like the sheriff is a little impatient here, and I know a lot of people are probably going to ask him subsequent questions and demand what happened here. So there's probably pressure on the sheriff's office now from the media to find out what happens with this story.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't get forgotten and everything like that. Wild stuff. Thanks, Magnolia, though. I appreciate it. We'll be on it if any updates come.
All right.
Thank you. All right, folks. So if you know Ryan or anything about this case, I know some people in the chat were like local, and you want to set the record straight or give us some information. We protect anonymity on this channel. Remember, you can send us tips at JLR Investigates. We get a lot of tips all the time, and if you want to stay off the record, on the record, you want to speak, we protect anonymity. That's one thing we always do because we get a lot of the goods. A lot of people always, send us things, and we love to hear from you. We want to know a little bit of backstory. We want to know if these individuals, if you're involved, if you're the Russian girl out there, you want to speak. And then Ryan, if you're out there, you want to speak, you want to just speak and set the record straight, clear the air, come on in, reach out. Come on in. We'll air what you have to say. Be interesting to see where this goes from here. All right, folks. JLR Investigates. We cover true crime 24/7, 365 on this channel. We'll talk soon. Praying for everyone up in Green Lake, and definitely praying for Ryan's family, sheriffs, all law enforcement, first responders, everyone out there that was searching for him, man. Kudos to you. You guys are the heroes out there. We have much respect for the people that go out there and search for these missing individuals. I know your hearts are in it, right? Because we've done it ourselves, right? And I'm telling you, just like with Carly Russell and this, it makes my blood boil literally if I find out these things end up being hoaxes, right? Because you invest so much time and resources looking and stuff, and then it ends up being fake. It's horrible. I can't imagine. We'll talk soon. JLR Investigates. Have a good day. Stay safe.